Welcome to this explainer. Okay, quick question. Did you know that waiting too long to register your out-of-state car in Texas could literally slap you with a surprise tax bill of thousands of dollars? Seriously, thousands. Today, we're taking what is usually a complex, headache-inducing bureaucratic maze and transforming it into a foolproof survival guide for registering your out-of-state vehicle in the Lone Star State. Whether you're moving here for work, family, or just for the legendary barbecue, tackling your vehicle paperwork is absolutely crucial, and it's probably right at the top of your moving checklist. So let's get you sorted out. Now, let's dive right in and bust a massive myth. Yes, Texas recently abolished those annoying physical safety checks for most cars. But do not let that lull you into a false sense of security. The strict 30-day statutory countdown to register your car is very much alive. A lot of new residents think, oh, I have all the time in the world to swap out my plates. Well, actually, scratch that. Missing that strict 30-day window can cost you a ton of money in heavy penalty fees. We're talking a 20% penalty, not to mention you're risking some pretty hefty traffic citations. To make sure you totally avoid those surprise fees and citations, we are going to navigate this entire process chronologically. First up, we'll cover initial requirements. Second, the new inspection process. Third, application steps. Fourth, fees and costs. And finally, number 5, special cases. All right, let's kick things off with Section 1, Initial Requirements. This is the paperwork you need to get organized before you even think about leaving your house. Before anything else, you absolutely must verify your financial responsibility. You need an auto insurance policy that hits the Texas legal minimums. That's $30,000 for bodily injury per person, $60,000 per accident, and $25,000 for property damage, often called 30-60-25. You see, Texas operates under a tort-based fault liability system. What does that mean for you? It means no fault insurance policies from other states simply will not fly here. You can for sure use your existing out-of-state policy to register your car initially, but you have to contact your insurance agent first to verify that your coverage levels meet or exceed that exact 30-60-25 threshold. Alongside that insurance, the state has some incredibly strict identification standards. You have to present an unexpired, government-issued photo ID, and here's the kicker, it must exactly match the vehicle owner's name as recorded on your out-of-state title. So if your name recently changed because of a marriage or divorce, you've got to bring the legal documentation to prove it. Now, as for what IDs work, a driver's license from literally any U.S. state is perfectly acceptable here, as are U.S. and foreign passports or military IDs. Moving right along to Section 2, the new inspection process. This area has seen some massive legislative changes lately. Okay, this is a real game changer. As of 2025, under House Bill 3297, mechanics no longer have to test your brakes or check your lights for you to register the car. The state fully ended the annual safety inspection requirement for standard, non-commercial passenger vehicles. But wait, do not confuse this with a free pass on vehicle maintenance. If you're driving around on bald tires or with broken brake lights, law enforcement can and will still cite you, and you carry full civil liability if those defects cause a crash. So, despite the end of those physical safety checks, if you live in one of the 17 metropolitan non-attainment zones, your gasoline-powered vehicle is still required to pass an annual emissions test. These areas include the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, the Houston area, Austin, and El Paso. Oh, and take note, San Antonio's Bexar County is going to join this list in late 2026. This emissions test plugs directly into your car's computer. And listen closely to this part. If you have an active check engine light on your dashboard, it is an automatic failure, no exceptions. You won't be allowed to register the car until it is completely repaired and passing. There's also a really critical distinction regarding VIN verification that you need to be aware of. Most of you will simply self-certify the VIN right there on your paperwork. Because the physical safety inspections are gone for most cars, the state updated its forms. If your car isn't subject to an emissions test, you literally just check a box on your application swearing you looked at the VIN yourself. Easy, right? But if you have an imported or homemade vehicle, you need a specialized physical police inspection called a VTR-68-A. That means paying a $40 fee and having an auto theft task force officer physically verify the vehicle before you're allowed to register it. All right, with insurance and inspections totally sorted, you are ready to face the county tax office. Let's get into Section 3, Application Steps. The official TXDMV sequence is super strict, and it goes exactly like this. Secure your insurance, pass your inspection, file your registration at the county tax office, and only then can you apply for your Texas driver's license. You absolutely cannot mix up this order. The Department of Public Safety is not going to issue you a Texas driver's license unless you can physically hand them the vehicle registration receipt proving you've already completed that third step. Now, when you're actually applying, your path splits based on how you financed your car. If an out-of-state bank holds your lien, meaning you're still making payments, your bank holds the actual title. In that case, you just bring your most recent out-of-state registration receipt to get your Texas plates. This is known as registration purposes only, or RPO. But if you own the car outright and have your title in hand with zero liens, Texas will take your old title from you and mail you a brand new, shiny Texas certificate of title. So when you're filling out Form 130U, which is the application for Texas title and/or registration, you need to carefully navigate these exact 4 steps to ensure your application doesn't get rejected. Make sure you use the absolute most current version of this form. It was just updated for 2025 to include that new VIN self-certification checkbox we talked about earlier. You'll need to enter your lien holder's name and address if you're still making payments. And of course, whatever you do, don't forget to sign the bottom. Next up, let's pull out the calculator and figure out exactly what this is going to cost you at the checkout counter. Section 4, Fees and Costs. Okay, so calculating your baseline registration cost works like a giant puzzle, where the state stacks uniform fees with varying local county charges. When you total up the base fee of $50.75, the Texas Sure Insurance Verification fee of $1, the new $7.50 fee that replaces the old physical safety inspection revenue, and standard processing of $4.75, you reach a baseline. After you add in your specific county title and road fees, a standard passenger car will generally run you somewhere around $75 to $85 just in administrative registration fees. But that doesn't include taxes. And this right here is exactly why urgency is your best friend. Acting within 30 days of establishing residency secures you an incredible deal, a flat $90 new resident tax. If you previously registered the car in your name in your old state and you file your Texas paperwork within 30 days of moving, the comptroller grants you this amazing flat rate. But if you wait past those 30 days, the state presumes you bought the car after becoming a resident. They will hit you with a massive 6.25% use tax based on the vehicle's standard presumptive value. To put that into perspective, on a $30,000 car, that is nearly $2,000 out of pocket. Now, for all you EV owners, we have to talk about this specific number. $200. There's a surprising annual surcharge exclusively applied to fully electric vehicles to offset their lack of gas tax contributions. If you drive a fully electric vehicle, we're not talking hybrids here, just fully electric, you are going to owe an additional $200 every single year when you renew your registration. And if you are registering a brand new EV for the very first time on a 2-year cycle, you'll be paying $400 right up front. Finally, let's cover a few unique scenarios that completely change the standard bureaucratic rules. Section 5, Special Cases. For service members relocating to the state, the TXDMV offers a dedicated military packet. This is fantastic because it opens up specific pathways and really acknowledges the unique logistical challenges of military relocations. The Texas Department of Motor Vehicles provides distinct guidelines and benefits specifically for those with a permanent change of station to a Texas base. Active duty personnel get some great perks here. You can take advantage of extended 60-day deadlines to pay the use tax, and you have the ability to maintain your Texas registration online even when you're deployed out of state. So if you're stationed outside of Texas but want to keep your Texas registration, you can self-certify online that your vehicle is out of state, completely bypassing the immediate emissions test requirement. Just remember, the second that vehicle returns to Texas, you only have 3 days to get that emissions test done to avoid getting a ticket. What if you don't own the car but lease it? Well, you absolutely must obtain Form VTR 271 from your leasing company. This form authorizes you to register the vehicle in Texas, and if you don't have it, you'll be turned away at the counter. Because a leased vehicle is fundamentally owned by the leasing corporation, they have to legally grant you a limited power of attorney to execute that registration shift across state lines. Make sure you call your leasing company well in advance to get this document mailed to you. As we start to wrap up this explainer, please keep this crucial professional disclaimer in mind. Processes and fees may change. Because Texas bifurcates its DMV operations, your local county tax office always has the final word on exact fees and acceptable payment methods. Basically, the state manages the database, but your local independently elected county tax assessor collector is the one actually processing the transaction. Always check your specific county's website before heading in. That 30-day countdown to avoid the 20% penalty is ticking. As we've seen today, state lines aren't just geographic. They are very real financial and legal boundaries that require some pretty careful navigation. It definitely makes you wonder, with Americans moving across state lines more than ever before, is it time we standardize these vehicular borders, or is local tax control just the ultimate price of states' rights? Whatever you think, grab your insurance, fill out that Form 130U, and go secure your Lone Star State registration today. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and we will see you next time.